Now, we've taken a look at the original application and I had imported that in as stores A. Let's take a look at some changes that I made and walk through those very simple changes or updates to a migrated application. So I've recompiled. Now I'm going to execute the program. Before we go into what I've done in the program here, let me talk about this that just popped up. This is the Genero desktop client. When we run the application in a graphical environment, it's the Genero desktop client that is interpreting the interface and the logic from the runtime system and building that application on the client. You can pull up the Genero desktop client and create shortcuts for launching the application. You can also see exactly what's running at a given time. You can configure where the images for an application are located, etc. I don't want to spend too much time on the Genero desktop client, but I do want to point out that that is an installed piece of software on the client being used to, very light piece of software on the client, very thin client, being used to interpret and run the application and communicate back to the runtime system. Now, of course, you can run the Genero desktop client minimized, but I wanted you to see what that looks like. All right, so now we've gone ahead and run the application. Let's pull that in. And nothing looks too different yet. We do notice that our exit button has a particular icon associated with it now. Let's go into the customer screen, and you'll see here that I went ahead and added a toolbar. So I want to point out how I did that. The other thing I want to point out is that there's no menu panel. So if you recall, the menu panel that was appearing on each of the screens is no longer here on the customer screen. Now let me go ahead and exit out of that and choose the orders button. And you'll notice that the orders menu is still in the right-hand menu panel. So a couple things are going on here. When the customer window is launched, the window that is being built out of a particular style, meaning that it is being built according to some specification that says, build this window according to a style that I have set up. And the style, we're going to see, has a menu panel setting to none, as well as some other options. We'll also notice in the form itself that it has a toolbar for controlling those menu items. Now let's go ahead and talk about the form itself first. Here's our cust form, and you'll notice that a new section in a Genero form is toolbar. And here what we've done is we've itemized out or listed out each of the items that are going to be represented in the toolbar, including a separator. We can also add attributes to a toolbar. So here we're saying button text hidden. If you recall, we didn't have any text appearing below the toolbar icons, but we could take that out if we wanted to see the text associated. Now what we call each of these items are actions, and actions are a more expanded concept than what we had in 4GL. So let's take a look at the code and see what that means. Over in the cust 4GL program, you'll notice that we have a menu, and the menu has been modified slightly to specify an on action and the name of the action instead of the old command statement. Now the reason is that the on action statement, each of the actions, we can go ahead and predefine all of the characteristics of the on action or the action called one add, meaning we can define its text, its image, its related accelerator key, etc. Then in our code, all we simply have to write is on action one add, and as you saw in our form, we simply could include an item one add. It makes it quite easy and it makes our code quite clean. Now if we take a look here, we'll see that we have on actions listed now, and those on actions we're also going to find in what we call a 4AD file the action description, so to speak. So let's find one ad. Here is our one ad action, and you'll notice that we have identified the name of the action, what text will be associated with that action, the image, the comment, and the accelerator key. Two different accelerator names. Okay, so we'll come back to talk a little bit more about actions, but I just wanted to point out where that information is being pulled from. And that resource file is an XML file that's a .4AD file. The other thing that we noticed, or that I want to point out about the program and what has changed, is when we opened the window, if you recall, we decided we didn't want the menu panel there. So we opened the window and we applied an attribute of style. Now the style that we applied is called custom. And so we need to look at the definition of custom to see exactly how this window is being built. All of the styles that you define are going to be in what's called a 4ST file. So just like the file that we just looked at for actions, there's another resource file that again is in XML that is a style file. Now this style file has as part of it a set of styles associated with different windows. So if you wanted to open a window that is of type dialog, we've got a predefined style set up for you. And that predefined dialog style will put the ring menu at the buttons at the bottom. We'll put the toolbar, have no toolbar, no status bar, and we'll apply all the error messages as pop-ups. In the same way, we can define our own styles. So here down below, I defined a style called custom that simply has the action panel position at the bottom. Okay, any actions such as our OK and cancel or accept and cancel will appear at the bottom of the screen. And I didn't want the ring menu position, so I've set that value to none. So once a style is defined in this resource file, this 4ST file, then over in our code, we can apply that style or use that style. So when this window cust is opened, it's opened by the definition of the custom style. Now one last thing I'll point out about this style here is that it's deriving all of its characteristics, its attributes from a normal window, and by defining a style I'm simply picking out which of the attributes that I want to change. Okay, so this window is inherited or defined as a normal window, but with some changes to it, and that would be our action panel position and ring menu position. Now you're getting your first look at XML. These files are predefined for you, and then you can just add on to them. And we'll talk a little bit more about these files as needed. But again, these have been added to the project so that I can use them in this program. And again, when I run my program, I again get the impact of that change. Again, no menu panel, and a toolbar as part of this form, again with the button text hidden. I don't have any text below here.